Welcome to the Visionary Chronicles, a podcast dedicated to uncovering the strategies and insights that drive innovative, disruptive businesses. Join us as we explore the mindsets, cultures, and solutions powering the next generation of industry leaders and creative trailblazers. Whether you're seeking to inject new life into your organization or spark transformative growth, the Visionary Chronicles is your guide to executable, cutting-edge business strategy. Hello and welcome to the Visionary Chronicles. Today we're going to jump into a series that I call the Road to Visionary Leadership. So we're going to do a multi-part series. It's the first time we've done it. Had requests for it, but there are a lot of subjects that I just find I can't wrap into 20 or 30 minutes on a single podcast episode. So what we're going to do is a multi-part series and the Road to Visionary Leadership. And the reason I'm doing it is it's inspired actually by the new book that I'll be releasing in July of this year called The Visionary Leader, The Success Principles of the World's Greatest Visionaries. This is a fun book to write, but obviously very difficult. There's a lot of visionaries, but it was interesting going all the way back to Alexander the Great, Socrates, all of these great visionaries. And a lot of people don't think of as visionaries because everybody thinks present tense. So what I found in writing the book was that there was a lot of principles deployed by these great visionaries that maybe not a lot of people are aware of. They've heard of, but don't know a lot about these great visionaries over the past centuries, not generation, but centuries. So in this series, we're going to start with the visionary, the road to visionary, understanding the visionary leadership and mindset. And the reason I start with this is because not a lot of people talk about mindset with leaders. Most talk about the leader's ability to execute a strategy, the leader's ability to lead a team, the leader's ability to set a vision. But there's this continual mindset that's required as a leader of a brand that not a lot of people are able to do on a day in and day out basis. So welcome to the Visionary Chronicles. We're going to talk about this road to visionary leadership. So again, I say this series was inspired by a new book that I just finished. I'm going to be releasing in July. I've already got a lot of great preliminary feedback through my advanced reader copies. And I'm going to release that in July. It's The Visionary Leader. Again, the success principles of the world's greatest visionaries. And this is part of my new MasterCourse that I released earlier last year. And I've had many visionaries, leaders, business leaders, and entrepreneurs that have taken the course and have tremendous feedback. And that's available at thevisionaryfiles.com. And so when we talk about this visionary leadership, I always kind of go back to some quotes that I think really inspire leaders and those that we're talking with on the Visionary Chronicles. And this is from Steve that probably a lot of you have heard of, but I want to make sure that we talk about it again as that innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And the reason I put that quote up there was because people think singularly about innovation being on product. But when Steve was talking about this, he wasn't just saying innovation and product. What he was talking about was innovation on strategy, innovation on engaging with your customer, innovation on the journey with your customer, and innovation on forward thinking or future casting with your customer is also innovation that not a lot of people think about. And that's the interpretation of what I had with innovation. And it leads into that road to visionary leadership and the mindset that you need to have. So that is a great quote to start off with because most people don't think of a mindset as being beyond vision, beyond strategy. You have to think beyond that as find opportunities for growing your brand, engaging with your customer, and transformational change as a brand. Or else you stagnate, you're a one-hit wonder, and you don't become a generational brand. So in this first episode, we'll delve into this foundation of what it means to be a visionary leader. And what I call the mindset required to inspire and drive this ongoing generational transformation. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, your goal is to become a generational brand like Nike or Adidas or any brand that's been around for generations that has had success. And this generational transformation could also be with current ongoing brands. So visionary leadership is just not about having a bold vision. You know, many people think, wow, I've got this great vision and I'm executing on this vision, but 5 years in, you lose your passion for the vision, you cut corners, you become a commodity and no longer a brand. So visionary leadership, again, is not about just bold vision. It's about fostering an innovative culture and a resilient mindset that enables leaders inside your brand to chart a path forward despite continual barriers and challenges. And these barriers and challenges, again, people's narrow focus thinking, and we do this on the whiteboard with Liquid Mind when we talk to our leaders with these brands, is they think of barriers and challenges as tangible. And what's interesting is, more often than not, the real damage is done with a brand and visionary leadership on things that are not tangible, such as culture. If you have a toxic culture, a culture that doesn't embrace the vision vertically, and I'm saying from the top down that you're not embracing what you say. You say one thing and you do another. It's a toxic culture. And so that's why I say it's about fostering an innovative culture. It's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Because people will think when I say innovative, they're immediately thinking of a better product or something that's a better service, not necessarily about a better culture or a mindset that a leader has inside of a company. So you need to enable these leaders to chart a path forward despite continual barriers and challenges. It's not a matter of if you're going to have a challenge. It's when you're going to have a challenge. In particular, they're very tangible over the last 4 or 5 years. But when you look at the residual damage that has been done inside a company as a result of these challenges, it's been culture. It's been team passion. It's been establishing the vision is one thing, but sticking to the vision and being authentic with those that are working with you to execute the vision, that is the big change you need to make with your company and your brand. So we'll explore several traits to growing your leadership. And hopefully it will inspire you to become visionary. And that'll be the final book in my series of books that I'm writing over the next several years. My next book is, I just finished The Visionary Leader. That'll be released in July, but then I'm going to do the Visionary Product. And then it's going to be Becoming Visionary. And it'll be kind of a compilation of all these books. So when we talk about growing the several traits in your leadership, not only style, but also how you execute your vision as a leader with your team, brand, and company. So what defines visionary leadership? And I get this question many times, and I put it up on the board when I'm talking to leaders, and I say, visionary leaders are forward thinkers who see possibilities before others do. You're kind of future casting. And it's one thing to see a vision, but it's also one thing to understand how to put it on paper and execute it through your team passionately and succeed in doing so and becoming generational. They possess the ability to anticipate trends, embrace innovation, and rally teams around a shared mission. And many people will have different definitions of what visionary leadership is. And I've really thought this through before writing the book. And kind of this, hey, what are 2 sentences without a lot of jargon as to what a visionary leader really is? So again, what defines visionary leadership is visionary leaders are forward thinkers who see possibilities before others do. They're future casters. And they possess the ability to anticipate. There's a big important word also, is anticipate. And embrace innovation. And embracing innovation means embracing risk. There's never been a great company, product, or brand, never in the history of this world, that it's not failed first before eventually succeeding. You can never completely eliminate risk. As a matter of fact, the more risk you take, the higher probability you have of moving ahead of your competition and leapfrogging them and have generational success. And the final is they rally teams around a shared mission. So What are some of these core traits of a visionary leader now that we've defined what it is? So the first is, I'm just going to do 3. Now I could put 20 up here, but I'm going to give you 3 to kind of, let's say, ponder, okay? And see how you are with these traits. The first is clarity of vision. You have a sharp focus on long-term goals and a compelling ability to articulate that vision. So you're a communicator, a vision setter, an authentic, passionate leader that not only establishes a vision, but is passionately behind that vision, and your mindset is on that vision day to day. So clarity of vision is a sharp focus on long-term goals and compelling ability to articulate the vision to your team. And the second is empathy and influence, the capacity to connect with people. Now that's a really important one, because leaders that don't connect with people don't have the ability to inspire others to aspire to succeed in their roles or become a team leader within their brand and have a passion around the vision. You are not going to succeed as a leader. It's as easy as that. You need to inspire trust. You need to motivate others to achieve a common purpose, okay? When you're talking about purpose or vision, you need to make sure purpose is always in there, because purpose is ultimately the all-encompassing strategy around your vision. Is you have a purpose around what you're doing and what you're looking to accomplish. Why are you doing this? Why? A vision is one thing, but the next question is, why are we doing this? And you got to be able to answer that question. It's through a purpose. So again, the second is empathy and influence, the capacity to connect people, inspire trust, and motivate others to achieve a common purpose. The third is creativity and resilience. Really important to being a successful visionary leader. It's a common trait, or a core trait, I call, with all visionary leaders. Thinking outside the box, persevering through adversity to achieving a breakthrough in results. So again, I could put 20 up here, but there's 3 I want you to think about. Where are you at with clarity of vision on your brand? Where are you at with empathy and influence with your team authentically? And where are you at with your creativity as a brand and your ability to embrace innovation through risk and the resilience through the tough times to find opportunities through those barriers you face? That's a trait of a visionary leader. The visionary mindset, what is that? So I give 3. Again, I could give 20, but I'm going to give you 3 to think about. The visionary mindset first is adaptable. Viewing challenges as opportunities to innovate and to grow as a company and as a brand. And not only as a company, as a brand, product, whatever it happens to be, but also as a person, as a leader. Be adaptable. They're the ones there, and when you go through challenges, you go through storms of life, personally, professionally, they're looking to you to lead them through these storms. So anticipate these and prepare for them, and it won't be a surprise when they come. The second is values-driven. Aligning your actions with values to maintain integrity and trust. It means being authentic. There are too many companies, leaders, brands, so-called visionaries that set this vision, but they're not authentic and they have no values when they look to execute it in the marketplace. The first time a storm comes up, they veer off course and never get back onto the destination. And what it does is, not only with the world that we live in today, with customer expectations, does it degrade integrity and trust with your team, but let's be real, it also degrades the integrity and trust with your community, which is, by the way, your brand equity. Customer lifetime value, CLV, is critical. So all visionary mindsets are values driven. The third is they're curious. It's a great, I love this word because I was going through and looking all the visionaries I have in the visionary leader, and going back to Socrates, to Alexander the Great, to Edison, to other visionaries that I have in the book. Einstein was the one I was thinking of, but I just think of all these curious visionary leaders. They're cultivating curiosity to learn and adapt in a changing world continuously. So they're always asking questions, why? Why does it have to go? Steve Jobs was notorious for this. Why does this dial have to turn this way? Why do I have to go through so many motions? Why do I have to read the instructions? He was always curious and asking teams, why does it work this way? But when you think about it, it's a beautiful way of innovating. Because when you're curious, what happens? There's change. So cultivating curiosity, again, to learn and adapt in a changing world continuously. So when we go through this again, visionary leadership are these forward thinkers who see possibilities before others do. The core traits of visionary leaders are clarity of vision, empathy and influence, and creativity and resilience. And the visionary mindset is being adaptable, always being values driven, and being curious. So these are the visionary mindset and the traits of being a visionary leader. So I also like to, and this is from the book, but I'll just give you a couple quick snapshot examples of those that I have in the book as to lessons from visionaries which are applied through visionary leadership that you can hopefully apply in your day-to-day as well. So we can draw inspiration from historical modern leaders whose what I call this relentless curiosity redefined creativity, which is required in being a visionary leader, and revolutionized our world and industries with their bold, innovative vision and tenacity to execute it in our world. And we're all the better for it. And the first is Leonardo da Vinci. He was amazing. And I could have written a book just on Leonardo da Vinci. So he is one of the visionaries that I outline in the book. So let's take a snapshot at Leonardo da Vinci as to what made him a visionary leader and some of the traits that he had in becoming a visionary leader. So the first is he always cultivated endless curiosity. He always asked questions about the world, and he would always find answers through observation. So being curious and finding answers was Leonardo da Vinci's anchor. He also valued lifelong learning, and that's a really, really good one for visionary leaders to understand, not only for them personally, but for their team. Set aside time each week for your team to learn. What happens when you set aside time for your team to learn about the latest technological advances, how to enhance customer expectations? They learn through book smarts and video smarts. What does that make you as a brand and as a leader? It makes you more effective and more valuable. So continuously expand knowledge and refining your skills was an anchor also for Da Vinci. He would marry art with science. This is the pinnacle of Steve Jobs. When you look at Steve, blending creativity with logic to solve complex problems and innovation. So that's a really, really cool one to have as a brand leader. Marry art with science. This is what makes great products awesome. The fourth that Da Vinci had was documenting ideas and observations continually. Keeping records of thoughts and experimentations and revisiting them later and refining them over time. That was his MO. And the fifth with Da Vinci was he embraced failure as a path, what he called to mastery. Treat mistakes, Da Vinci said, as an essential towards continual understanding and innovation. That's a beautiful 5-point thing about Da Vinci. The second is another great one, Socrates. And there was a Socratic, they called it the Socratic method. It's about asking powerful questions. And Socrates was notorious for asking questions with a question. And it kind of got to the bottom of finding a solution to the question without actually giving the answer. So use inquiry to uncover deeper truths and challenge assumptions with people. Meaning that, again, it goes back to the question of asking why. And keep asking why until you find a solution to the problem. And that's what Socrates was notorious for. And the second is foster dialogue that encourages critical thinking and discovery. This is part of that powerful question method. And the second trait that Socrates had was he always seeked self-knowledge. Understand yourself and your values and your capacity as a foundation for authentic leadership. Meaning that don't go outside yourself. Understand who you are and what you can do and what your capacity is. And then if you don't have that, learn through others or have others do it for you. Understand your bandwidth. The third with Socrates was encouraging intellectual humility. Accept that you don't have all the answers and remain open to learning. This is the arrogance of many leaders in the world we live in today, is they refuse to have humility. And they feel like they have all the answers until they find out they don't. So I don't know of any leader that's had all the answers. The greatest leaders of all time through the visionary leadership, they haven't had all the answers. It's those that think they have all the answers that are miserable failures and will never become visionary. And the fourth that Socrates had is he always taught by example. So what you want to do is lead through your actions and live by the principles that you advocate. Meaning it doesn't saying one thing and doing another is not what Socrates promoted. So lead through your actions and live by the principles you advocate. The fifth is focus on ethical leadership. Really critical in our world we live in today because it builds trust and integrity with your team, your customer, and your community. So prioritize integrity, morality, and justice in decision-making and interactions. Don't be a jerk. Always be sensitive. It goes back to being authentic as a leader and having the ability not to compromise, and also making sure that you understand and you embrace your team's values, your team's trust, and understand that the more ethical you are, the more integrity that you have with yourself personally. So prioritize integrity, morality, and justice in decision-making interactions is a key foundation for Socrates. The third example is with Steve Jobs. First was Steve, pursue excellence relentlessly. Not a lot of people can deal with this type of leadership, but look what's accomplished through excellence that's pursued relentlessly. So set uncompromising standards for yourself and your work, and that will flow down to others. You can't expect something from others that you're not willing to do yourself. So strive for perfection. That's key there, while maintaining practicality and market impact, meaning that striving is one thing, demanding is another. So striving for perfection, that's the big misnomer with Steve that people forget, is if he was asking for perfection, no product would have ever been commercialized. So he always strived for perfection, but he maintained practicality in all his products. The second that Steve had was embracing innovation as a visionary leader, a critical trait. Think differently and challenge the status quo. Enough said. No brand can do that. And Apple was one that was able to achieve it back in the day when Steve was there. I can't necessarily say they're doing it now, affectionately as a shareholder of Apple. But I would say think differently and challenge the status quo. Embrace innovation. The second piece of that is combining technology with art and design for groundbreaking results is what Steve had as well. Now look to this one from Da Vinci. Marry art with science. Da Vinci and Steve Jobs. I love when I was writing The Visionary Leader. What you'll find in the book is the meshing between generational and centuries apart from one another leaders and how much they had in common. Also, what Da Vinci indicated, embrace failure as a path to mastery. Here Steve says, embrace innovation, think differently and challenge the status quo. Combine technology with art and design for groundbreaking results as a key. And the third piece that Steve really focused on, but it's a visionary trait that every visionary has had, is focus on the user experience. A great product is not great if it's awful user experience. Design products with the end user in mind, prioritizing simplicity and functionality as a priority in all products that you create. And the next thing with Steve, the next trait he had was to communicate a compelling vision. And this was second to none with Steve Jobs. Inspire others by articulating a clear and bold vision, one that'll carry the brand for generations. And I'll go back to setting your vision. Is it a one-year vision or is it a generational vision? Is there a disconnect between what you're looking to achieve short-term versus long-term? This is communicating a compelling vision that people can embrace and know that when they embrace it, that it's a long-term, authentic, passionate vision that you've set for the company. And the last was learn from setbacks. This is common with Edison, Da Vinci, Steve Jobs, and Einstein. So learn from these setbacks. Use failures as an opportunities to grow and refine your approach. Many times brands like people like visionaries like Henry Ford learned from their setbacks and their failures and were able to adapt it and actually build more products than was originally intended from the vision that he had set. So opportunities through barriers. So when you look at common traits, and I love to have these three visionaries out of the book. I think I've got 18 different visionaries that I put in the book. But common traits across these visionaries, what I love is what you'll see is the commonality of the traits that these great century and visionary generational leaders all have this in common with one another. Is curiosity and lifelong learning number one, constantly exploring new ideas and expanding your understanding of the world. Number two is they have a bold vision and creativity. Dare to think differently, inspire others with your imagination. There's where you set yourself apart as a company, as a brand, and as a leader. Bold vision and creativity. You may set a vision, but if you have no idea how to execute that vision, nor do you have the ability to inspire others, that vision goes nowhere. Number three is resilience and adaptability, overcoming challenges and turning failures into stepping stones for growth. And this can be product. It can be going through a global storm like COVID, where people do things differently. It's a cultural change. It's something where you have to adapt and succeed. That's what we're talking about here is resilience and adaptability, overcoming challenges and turning failures into stepping stones for growth. And the fourth common trait across visionaries is empathy and connection. Understand and inspire those you lead by aligning your vision with shared values. So again, these common traits with all visionaries, measure yourself against these. Curiosity and lifelong learning, bold vision and creativity, resilience and adaptability, empathy and connection. So what are some practical steps? We just kind of take a step back. You're evaluating yourself on some of these traits and seeing where you're at as far as a visionary leader and how your brand measures against this. I always like to give some practical steps. And this is what this series will show you as well as the conclusion to each podcast. We'll kind of go through some practical steps. So this one will be practical steps to cultivate your visionary leadership. If you don't have some of these traits, that's fine. But you need to adapt, grow, build these traits in order to become or start becoming more visionary in your leadership, within your brand, and becoming generational in the opportunities that you see in growing your brand over the next generation. So first is sharpen your focus on purpose-driven goals. Second is foster an environment that encourages creativity and innovation. This is cultural impact. The first was sharpen your focus on purpose-driven goals that are authentic. And this is driven by a vision, but you have to have a purpose with your vision. Second is foster an environment that encourages creativity and innovation. That's culture. The third is build resilience by embracing setbacks as part of your growth journey. Meaning that don't panic during setbacks. They're inevitable. They will happen. Preparation is the key to success in working through these challenges. So again, practical steps to cultivate your visionary leadership. Sharpen your focus on purpose-driven goals through your vision. Focus or foster an environment that encourages creativity and innovation. This is your culture. The third is building resilience by embracing setbacks as part of your growth journey. So integrating these lessons or these traits into your leadership journey, I call it, kind of allows you to develop a visionary mindset that drives three things: innovation, growth, and a meaningful impact to your company, brand, and team. So this episode kind of sets the stage for the next episodes as a transformative series, hopefully for you, and some bullet points that you can take away and for these to be actionable. We're offering tools and insights to help you embrace the mindset of a visionary leader. Like, what is a visionary leader? What is a mindset? What do I need to change? How do I measure where I'm at today with my brand and me personally and professionally? So whether you're an aspiring leader, a seasoned entrepreneur, or really just seeking personal growth, the visionary leader and the road to visionary leadership, we'll guide you along that way in your journey in creating a lasting impact. So this is just the first step. Hopefully stick with us for the rest of the series. And so as we wrap up this episode of the Visionary Chronicles, I have an exciting opportunity I'd like to share with you. And I talked about it earlier. It's my upcoming book, The Visionary Leader, The Success Principles of the world's greatest visionary leaders. And it's nearing its release in July, like 6 months out. So I'd like to extend an invite for those that truly and authentically would like to give your honest feedback and review. I have advanced reader copies, and I'd love to have you share your thoughts as an early reviewer. And you can reach out to me directly at Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, at liquidmindsight.com. And I'll provide that ebook to you. So you'll be one of the early reviewers. I'll experience the insights and strategies from this hopefully transformative book. And you've just heard a little bit about it today and some of the visionary leaders that we have in the book. So again, reach out to me at Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, at liquidmindsight.com. If you're interested in getting an advanced reader copy for a review and being one of the early reviewers, I would really appreciate it. I always appreciate my audience and would like to give something back to you, and this is one way for me to do that. So thank you for your continued support. Thank you for those that have downloaded the Visionary Brand MasterCourse through thevisionaryfiles.com. Those that have purchased and continue to purchase the Visionary Brand, making it a bestseller on Amazon and an award winner with readers' favorite best business book genre. So again, thank you for your time. Always appreciate it. Stay true, stay authentic, be different, be great. But most importantly, as I always say, enjoy the journey along the way. Thank you for joining us on the Visionary Chronicles today, and we look forward to the next episode in the series. Thank you for listening to the Visionary Chronicles today. Really appreciate your time. Realize that you're extremely busy. And thank you to those also that have made us the #1 visionary and top 50 marketing global podcasts as ranked by FeedSpot. Also, thank you to those that have also purchased the Visionary Brand, the success formula behind the world's most visionary brands, making us a Amazon bestseller, as well as winning the Reader's Favorite Award for Best Nonfiction Marketing Genre Book, still available through all distribution channels. And also, if you like what you hear with the Visionary Chronicles podcast, please subscribe or Forward this to someone you know that may enjoy what we're talking about with the Visionary Chronicles. And you'll also get a free ebook edition. And it's available through all subscriptions: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, iHeart, Google Podcasts, all available for subscription no matter what you listen to. And also, with the release of the Visionary brand, we're also just finished our MasterCourse, located at thevisionaryfiles.com. It's a 18 video learning courses, almost 2 hours of visionary lessons on what we're talking about with the Visionary brand today. So if you could pass this along as well, again, it's available at thevisionaryfiles.com. Just finished that this quarter. We have over 2,100 entrepreneurs and brand leaders who have already taken the course. And also, if you have any questions on the podcast, feel free to reach out to me at Liquid Mind, where we have free meetings that we provide. We also partner with startups, mid to large cap consumer brands, empowering these businesses to think differently, be different. We drive a passionate culture and to tell them to execute relentlessly. I'm available at liquidmindsite.com. Also, Brian at liquidmindsite.com, and also Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out to me. Always love to hear your comments and feedback.